All right, what's on tap? Fucked up edition. All right, so tonight
We're back in the pool room.
and we are trying a trifecta
Of goodness.
to all quality.
Well, I mean, there's one wild beer in there. There's one collaboration.
Well, it's a collaboration. There's something we don't know and something we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So it is a smorgasbord of
Stuff.
berry goodness.
Yes.
Yes. And we'll start with tonight's first offer.
Yeah. So we are starting with the 3 times Yeastus 2L Instant Crush Brett Edition.
I'm very excited about this. So this is a Brett IPA.
Yeah.
And I love the Yeastus beers from the past. Yeastus Christ Super Sour is one of my favorite beers I've ever had from Too Old. So very high expectations of this.
I mean, this should basically be like a triple dry hopped version of that. Yeah, it smells really fucking good.
It's so fruity. So I just give a quick sniff. It is just super fruity.
It has like the smell of a New England IPA combined with a Brett IPA.
Yeah. I am so looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about Brett IPAs in the last episode. And the fact that you haven't had too many.
What?
Yeah, no, we talked about this. My God. Yes, we've talked about Brett IPAs in the past.
We have.
In the last episode, as a matter of fact. And the fact that you haven't had too many Brett IPAs. And it's a style that you enjoy, but you haven't.
No, those rye IPAs.
No, we had the rye IPA. Oh. We also talked about Brett IPAs as well.
Oh, did we?
We did.
I can't remember that.
I know. It was mere seconds ago.
I don't think we have talked about Brett IPAs.
We did. We did.
No.
We did.
I am.
Anyway, so you enjoy Brett IPAs. You've had one.
I've had several.
Okay. We're breaking down already. So we'll forgo that.
I think this is a conversation you played out in your head.
No, we didn't. We talked about this in the last episode. Okay, fine. So go back, listen to the last episode, and you will hear Matthias mention his appreciation of Brett IPAs.
No.
Yes, you will.
No, you won't.
And so we have this new Brett IPA. And what are you looking forward to in this? What makes a Brett IPA for you? What do you enjoy in the Brett IPA?
So, I think my favorite style of Brett IPAs are the ones where you use like the fruity type of Brett.
Yes.
Because you can get, to be honest, there's one experiment I would like to try doing, and that would be making...
Anal?
Yes, that, and also I want to try making a... basically, I want to try and making a Brett IPA with as little amount of hops that I can use. Okay.
And what would that create?
Well, because if you use a certain type of Brett strain, you get a ton of like tropical fruit flavors from it. Okay. So that's the Brett strain that I've used for a couple of my Brett IPAs in the past. If you remember the... Oh, Jesus, I'm having a hard time remembering my own beer names at this point. It was like the wild Zest, I believe. Yeah. I mean, that had some citrus zest in it, but it also used a Brett strain, which gives a lot of tropical fruit flavors. Okay. And it was actually the same Brett strain that I used in the Chronic Morden, the one that actually made us connect and become friends.
Oh, yeah. I love you too, buddy.
Oh, that's mutual. Yes. But yeah, so there's that certain type of Brett strain that gives you a really big tropical fruit forward flavor instead of like the barnyard funk and sweaty horse kind of Brett. Yeah. So it would be quite interesting to try making a IPA with as little amount of hops that you can use and still get like a really tropical fruit forward tasting beer.
All right. Well, this smells super tropical.
But it also has like some of that like, stable and barnyard funk to it.
That's it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if you look for it, you're gonna find it.
All right.
Or you're just too wasted at this point.
Not important. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, it's like pleasantly sour.
Yeah.
Really tropical. So dry. So dry in the
Incredibly
aftertaste.
dry. Yeah. It's very dry. But I mean, I think in this and in this particular case, I'm guessing it's from the hops, because I mean the Brett strain is probably one of the like barnyard funky ones. It gives a little bit of sourness. So I'm guessing that the fruit flavor you get from this beer is from the triple dry hopping.
Yeah, it has to be. That is what's crazy is it's really simple but yet really complex.
Yeah.
Like the smell and the nose and the flavor, the forward mouthfeel is very rewarding, but just drops.
It's incredibly dry on
so dry on the back end.
On the finish.
Yeah. And I like it.
It's really good. It's kind of a nice if you want to call it like a stray away from, again, like, I mean, I feel like we're bringing up New England IPAs in every episode, but I mean, it's because you get the same like fruit flavor as New England IPA, but you don't get like the juicy finish.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I get the triple dry hopping just throughout the front.
Yeah.
And it's just super hoppy and just smells and tastes delicious, but then it just dies immediately, and you're just like, oh, I want more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it gets you chasing that second sip and the third sip and the fourth one until the bottle is empty.
Yeah, I will say this is a play on the Yeastus Christ.
Yeah.
And my God, I hope they do more of that.
Yeah.
Because it is just absolutely killer.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. And it also has like I don't know, I mean, at this point we could probably call it like the classic 2L sour IPA flavor. So from like the sour Mosaic and the sour Citra and all of those types of beers, which has been, I mean, I think like the sour IPA series has been amazing.
But there's this like bisque, bitter flavor to it at the very, like, as you're letting it like linger in your mouth, it's just a great bitterness to it. Yeah. That I didn't expect, but it's one of those things where, like, if you don't like bitterness, this is a bit of a harsh bitterness to it. Yeah. But
the funny thing is, like, the funny thing with the bitterness in this one is that the bitterness actually dies off really quick and turns into like this tropical fruit bomb, and then the tropical fruit bomb just dies out into this dry finish. So it's almost like 3 beers in one. Yeah, it's like a Kinder Egg, like Kinder Surprise.
it is a Kinder Surprise. Yeah, it's like, oh, is it the chocolate, and then you have like, oh,
the toy, and you have the surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Except here you have like the fruit, you have the dryness, and you have the bitterness. Yeah,
this is an astounding beer. Honestly, it is just super rewarding on levels I was, quite frankly, not expecting. Yeah. I didn't know what to take from this beer when we got it, and it was highly recommended to us from Jens as well. And man, my God, this is what I want from Tool. This is just them knocking it out of the park.
This one tomorrow we're going to be smoking a lot of pork. I mean, like a case of this beer on a hot summer's day while smoking some meat outside, that would be like the perfect day. Because you could throw back. I
completely agree. You could toss this back all day long.
Yeah. I mean, it is, I think it's like 7.5%. So, I mean, you could probably just throw back as many of these as you can handle. But I mean, I would easily drink this all day long.
Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I might have to give this a 5. This really is just hitting on every spot I wanted to hit on in ways I didn't know I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just giving me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was considering 4.75, but also just like thinking back to what we were talking about last episode, is like, what would, with ratings and the way that you rate stuff, it's just like, what would I improve about this beer? It's like nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think I would change a thing about it.
No, it's just, it's fruity, it's dry, it's a little bit bitter in the aftertaste.
But it's like it gives you free beers into one.
And just everything about it just keeps giving you like something.
And then when like that dry finish has finished you off, you just go back for another sip and you go on that like flavor roller coaster all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am gonna have to agree with you that this is probably a 5 out of 5 beer. Yeah.
So good. Okay, so next up we have the
Pohjala, the 10 apple stout. So it's a beer to celebrate the apple. There's 5 different varieties of apples from Denmark and 5 different apples from Estonia.
So there's 10 apples.
10 different
total.
apples in
That's a
beer.
lot of apple.
And they're all treated in 10 different ways, whatever that means.
So there's 200 different, I don't know, what does that add up to?
5 gazillion flavor combinations, I guess.
There's a billion different.
Exactly.
So this should be.
There's boiled apples, there's fried apples, there's smoked apples, there's
just apples on top of apples, and with apples added on top of apples.
It's basically like an apple bonanza in a stout.
Which is interesting because
But
apple is considered an off flavor in beer.
Yeah.
So
after they've gone through this whole
all of this apple dapple. Yeah.
Exactly. They put it in Calvados barrels.
Okay.
Which is also kind of like an apple-y.
It is an apple brandy kind of experiment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean should be interesting.
All right. So
give it a bit of a whiff.
This is a stout. It smells honestly like a vanilla stout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would expect something more boozy and more, quite frankly, appley in the nose.
There's lactose in there.
Oh, there's definitely lactose in there. They went lactose. They went balls out lactose on this one.
Yep.
I gotta say, I'm not excited about this.
I am gonna have to agree with you on that one because it smells way too sweet.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you put it on the label that you have 10 different ways, 10 different apples treated in 10 different ways.
There's 100 different apple ways.
Yeah. I'm kind of expecting a bit more.
Is my math correct on that? 10 times 10?
10 times 10 is 100.
All right. So therefore, we have 100 different apple ways. So I would expect a very apple-y, cidery kind of beer, but this just smells like vanilla. I get no apple on this. What in the smell? I get a bit.
You do get it in the taste, though.
I get a bit spiciness.
Yeah, there's a bit of spiciness in the aftertaste, but I mean the upfront taste is quite heavy on like this kind of sour green apples. It's like right when you get it in your mouth.
There's a pepperiness to it.
Yeah,
like a green pepper, like a raw green pepper kind of flavor to it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is a favorite of mine.
No,
because it's.
I gotta say,
it's too much lactose to.
Yeah, I think what's missing here is that it's a stout. I mean, I don't think we haven't said that at all in any way whatsoever.
No.
So when you poured it, I was just like, oh, this is a very dark beer. What's the ABV? Do you know?
I believe it was like 12 something.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's an imperial stout, very heavy. I was expecting much more of a lighter beer with a much more cidery kind of flavor profile to it. But this is just sweet, lactosey.
I gotta say, on the second sip, you get more of like a apple skin kind of flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. More like a red apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you're going there.
Still not something that rhymes well with my taste buds, at least.
Well, I just want it to be more cidery. Maybe it's a little too cold.
Could
but
be.
I don't.
I mean, we can.
I don't feel like I don't feel like that's the case here.
No.
Because this is not like frigid at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been in the fridge for like what, an hour?
Yeah.
And I mean, it was room temperature when you got here.
Maybe it just needs to breathe a little. So
yeah. I mean, we can leave it and come back to it.
I won't pass judgment on it entirely. We'll let it breathe a little.
Yeah.
We'll go into the next beer and we'll come back to it before we pass the final judgment.
Yeah.
And so next up is a collaboration between Wild Beer and Tuol, and it's their Troffeler.
Troffeler.
Sure, we'll call it that. Troffeler.
That's truffles in
Yes.
Danish.
And it is a blended saison with truffles and sage.
That sounds pretty fucking amazing to me, at least.
It sounds very experimental to me, and could go one or two ways. This is either going to be like incredible or like, oh my fucking god, because I mean, mushrooms and beer and sage and beer are not.
It's not your favorite things?
I guess I have a hard time like reconciling those things together. But the smell is pure saison.
Sage. There's a lot of sage in the smell.
A little soapy to me.
A little bit soap, yeah.
But I definitely get that horse blanket saison smell.
Yeah.
And I get a weird soapiness to it.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
Like hand soap kind of smell to it.
I'm thinking more like the washing.
Yeah, like just straight up like just pure like sink detergent.
Yeah.
Like hand soap.
All right, well,
cheers. Okay. I'm missing the truffle here.
I mean, truffles should be such a pronounced flavor.
I mean, when you think about truffle oil, which is basically a perfume in oil fragrance, in oil yeah.
In oil speak.
Yes. Because like when you like truffle oil doesn't actually have truffle in it. It's a chemical it's a chemical creation to make you think of truffles. I feel like this should, and truffle is a very dominant flavor, and
you don't get very much of it.
And I get like no truffle off of this whatsoever.
Nope.
Like as a saison, it's actually quite nice.
It's a pleasant saison, but I mean, there's no truffle flavor or truffle smell to it.
And I didn't even really get that much sage off of it. And like, you're talking about really dominant flavors here. Like, sage is, in and of itself, when you add it to any kind of meat, it's pretty overpowering. Sage, you're like, well, that's a sage dish because that's got sage in it. So, but this just doesn't have that for me.
It's kind of weird.
I would kind of almost expect a to put it in American vernacular, a Thanksgiving dinner kind of beer. Like the saison with sage, I think sounds amazing. And you add truffle to it, it's going to become a more mushroomy, roundy kind of flavor. But this doesn't have any of that. I mean, it's a pleasant saison in and of itself. But it's just
when you put truffles and sage on the label, then it needs to actually taste or smell of that too.
Yeah, completely agree.
And I thought I got sage from the smell of it, but it might actually be that kind of dish soapy detergent smell.
Yeah,
that I might have confused for sage. I don't get any truffles at all.
No, I'm disturbed. Actually, I'm kind of disturbed by the lack of truffles, because that should have been just like a real punch in the face. Like I was expecting this to be with saison, sage, truffles, a real punch in the face of something. And this is just with a milk toast on all of those.
Well, it's a very vanilla saison, to be honest.
Yeah, and vanilla in the fact that it's generic,
bland.
Yeah, not vanilla that they're getting vanilla flavors.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean it's a fair enough saison, but there's no sage or truffles in it.
No.
At least none that's perceivable. So.
Oh, definitely not perceivable in any way whatsoever.
That's a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, on many, many levels.
Yeah. It's almost like you wonder if they packaged the wrong beer that day.
Kind of, yeah. Because
it should be so prominent. Like the truffle flavor at least should be very prominent. But it's just not there.
Yeah. It's very meh.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have rated this as a normal saison, I would probably go like a 3.5-ish.
Yeah.
But when you put like truffles and sage on the label and it doesn't taste anything of that, then I'm going to knock it down to like a 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you.
Yeah, because I mean, those, as you were saying as well, I mean, those should be very distinct flavors or smells that come out of this beer, but they just don't. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Right, and the let's go back to the
Stout. We
never
rated that one.
Yeah,
no.
So I agree with you. That's
this is warmed up a bit. I'm gonna warm it up a little bit more in my hands as well, just to make sure.
Yeah, the two wild beer combination, I'm gonna give you a 2 as well.
Yeah, it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah, it's just missing the. I mean, if it was dominant in one of the flavors, I was like, wow, that's a lot of sage, or wow, that's a lot of truffles. I would feel different about it, but it's just
it's just a normal saison.
Yeah, it's just it's an adequate saison at best.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 with you as well.
I mean, I gotta say, a lot of the wild beer stuff that I've had has been this. I mean, it tastes.
That's the kind of crazy thing about wild beer. I've had some of their stuff. It's just been phenomenal. Just like knock it out of the park. Crazy good. And then on the other hand, it's just some of the stuff has just been like
meh.
Yeah, less than average.
But I feel like most of, at least for me, like most of the wild beer stuff that I've gotten has just tasted the same like this.
Yeah.
There's one taste, and it's this one.
Yeah. This was extremely.
I know that the sourdough one was really, really pleasant.
Yeah.
And I remember Dimitri from Brussels Beer Project, he gave me the blended sour beers. I think we had one of those. We might have actually have had both of them together at some point. But those were really nice too. But a lot of these, like I don't know if I wouldn't want to call this like a regular offering from them, but a lot of the regular offerings from wild beer has just tasted the same pretty much.
Yeah, no, I see where you're going with there, and I think they've got a really good base that they work from, and I've had some stuff from Wild Beer. Like I went to London Craft Beer Festival a couple of years ago.
Because I mean, you were raving about was it Flanders Red?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
that was really fucking good.
And their Pogo was really good. But I have to say it's been the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah. There's like a couple of, I mean, I would, it's hard to say, but I mean, for me it feels like 1 out of 5,
Yeah.
or 1 out of like 7 is going to be really good, and then the rest is going to be like, well, it's just the normal wild beer, base beer.
Yeah. All right.
So it's a little bit disappointing, to be honest.
Oh, very, very much. So let's circle back around to
the apple stout.
Yeah, the apple stouts.
Yep.
So how are you feeling about that now?
It's pretty much the same as before.
Yeah. It did not get better.
No.
Opening up.
No. It's pretty much the same as before. I mean, you still get like the slight roastiness.
I get a little more of the Calvados on it.
Yeah.
I get a little more of the roastiness, like you said. But
still not much apple.
you have to search for it.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're looking for there.
Yeah.
And
like if you wouldn't have read the label and known that it was aged in Calvados barrels, you would have picked it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to kind of agree with you on that one. I think you're kind of running the money there. For to be 10 times 10 apples and stout in Calvados barrels, I expected a much more something.
Yeah.
But the smell is just shredded vanilla. I get more of the Calvados now, but it doesn't really save it very much.
No.
Still very mild and meek and kind of middle of the road. So I'm going to go with a 3.
Yeah. I was going to go, yeah, either 3 or 3.25. Because I still think it's a
it's good.
Nice
I mean,
stout. But
yeah, it's a good stout. And I think once it breathes and comes to room temperature and oxidizes
like
a little bit.
a tiny bit better, but it's not
Yeah.
much.
You get more of the Calvados to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, 3.25. I mean, potato.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. I'm probably going to get a 3.25.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so
Where can you find us online?
what's the podcast.com? Facebook, Instagram, Stitcher, Spotify.
Oh, you went for the Stitcher now.
I had to do that. Yeah. And then YouTube. iTunes, YouTube.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's other places you can find us on any podcast app.
Sure. Just do a Google image search and you'll find 2 idiots.
No, 2 sexy beasts enjoying beers in the ways that you can only imagine 2 sexy beasts enjoying beers.
All right. Until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.